Today's featured speaker is Stacey Ayton. Stacey is your partner in unlocking online success. With over 15 years of marketing experience and a serial entrepreneur at heart, Stacey guides solopreneurs and small businesses to their ideal customers through personalized marketing roadmaps aligned with your budget and goals. She helps cultivate a robust online presence. Her website is websitemd.io, and we have a poll just for Stacey's benefit. So, do you currently have a Google business profile set up? Yes, no, or you're not sure.
2 minutes later.
We're going to end it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, share results. The answer is most folks here do not have a Google business profile. 4 do, 5 don't, 4 do, and 3 aren't sure. And 4 didn't answer the poll. So here we go. There you go. All right. Stacey, you may take it away.
Thank you, first of all, everybody, for being here today. It's probably one of my favorite things to teach. Love this class. So I love to call this class Racing Down the Google Business Profile Speedway, because as you ladies probably already know, where do you think most of the searches are done this day and age? Google. So it's kind of like, when you have a business, do you want to be in a strip mall away from the highway? Or if you could be off to the side where everybody can see you? I think we all want to be where people can see us when we're looking for new customers. So I'm not going to read through all of this, but there are a lot of benefits to having your Google business profile. First of all, it's free. So if you don't have one set up, it's free to set up, and it is an amazing tool that Google gives every business. So even if you're a service-based business where you're not having anybody, you work from your home, they're not coming to you, you're going to them, you still can have a profile. And I tell everybody to do it because first of all, it gives you a way to drive traffic to your website. It can get you phone calls, messages, and it is free advertising. So it's a great thing to invest a little time into to start seeing some results. But the other thing I love about it is that as you're growing your business, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term SEO, which is search engine optimization. It just means that when people are searching, you want to come up as often as possible when it applies to your business. And it drives free traffic. So today, I'm going to kind of show you a little bit, what does that look like? Where's it at? And what is a profile? What do you need to put together? It's just the basic setup. Normally, when I teach a class, we'll talk about the basic setup. The second part is how do you optimize it? And the third part is how do you market it? But today, we're just going to talk about the basic. And if you have questions, just let me know, because I know some of you already have your profile and maybe there's a couple of questions or you got stumped. Just let me know and I'll help you get it figured out. So I would tell you, if you have a phone, if you want to snap the QR code, it gives you access to a free video library that not only shows the setup, it shows how to optimize, it shows how to market, and it has case studies. So it's free. And the QR code just leads you to the link where to go. So if you take your phone, put it up to the screen, tap on it, it'll get you to the page to get into the video series. So that way you don't have to worry about taking a ton of notes. And you also have the ability, if you want to go beyond our basic setup, you can do that as well. So I think there's like a 12 video series, so go as far as you want, but it's got some good information. So that's my free gift to you guys to continue your education. How familiar are you with, as you're searching, what you're looking at? So when you do a search, if you will notice, most of the time at the top are usually all paid ads. So if you are a business trying to get on the first page and you're not paying for advertising, do you know the majority of times that first time that's going to happen is not going to be until you get to the map section? And that's where your Google business profile listing is. So how cool is that? that's a great way to get free traffic. So I always like to talk a little bit about what you're seeing. At the top is usually paid, at the bottom is paid advertising, which is fine because if you're starting a new business and you need to get traffic right away, this is a quick fix as you're doing paid advertising. But if you're looking for long-term strategy and you're just looking to maximize what can I do for free, the Google Business Profile is a fantastic way to go. So I just want to let you know this is when you're going to see your first listing is when you see a map. So let's kind of get a closer look at what that looks like. So in this case, I did a search for landscaping. And I did it because sometimes I teach this class in Albuquerque, New Mexico is where I'm at. So I don't want to ever offend anybody in case I have somebody in my group. So I went into Texas and said, okay, I'm looking for a landscaper. And it brings usually there's 3. Now this one is an ad, so you'll sometimes get the 4th, but it's bringing up what they consider some of the top businesses. So everybody wants to be on that first page. So let's talk about some of the things that's getting them to stand out. First of all, what is the first thing you notice that the first thing they're telling everybody? It's reviews, right? How many reviews do they have? And what is their overall rating? So do you think that maybe Google thinks that's important when they're looking at businesses to bring up? I would. And that would be one of the things I will talk about a little bit later. Focus on your reviews because it's interesting to me. This one actually has more and a higher, but this one has gone first. So it's not just reviews, but they are highlighting that. The second thing you see here is called your primary category. You have a drop-down menu to select from when you're doing that. So you don't get to put in exactly what you want, but you can always change this. So say, for instance, I'm in the beauty spa business. Maybe I want to be under estheticians one time, and maybe I'm not getting the traffic I want. And maybe the next time I want to say, let me see how I do if I'm a massage therapist. So you can always change this and start looking at what's driving the most traffic to you. And these are some of the other things we'll talk about, your location, years in business, hours. But if you'll notice, the consistent thing is the reviews, years in business, and it's going to talk about your hours. So all of that is important information. So let's dive a little further. Now you know where the Google Business Profile listings show up. What is the first thing Google is showing a potential searcher about your business? So if you do not have one already, you do have to have a Google account. It could be Gmail, but you have to set one up to get started. So if you don't have a Gmail account, all you need to do is go to accounts.google.com, set up a Gmail account, and then you can proceed over to google.com business and start your free profile. Any questions so far? This is the first steps in getting started.
I
So
just had a quick
what?
comment,
Oh,
Stacy.
of course, you bet.
So a friend of mine, he has his Google profile set up. He's a realtor, and
Right.
one tip he gave me when you talked about office hours,
Yes.
he changed his profile to holidays that he was open because his phone number is tied to his cell phone, and he actually got a client on Easter because everyone else had said they were closed and his was open. So just a tip, he was telling me that always say you're available on the holidays because you never know who's looking.
That's true. They're home, they have that extra time, and maybe they're now looking for that service. So great tip. Thank you very much. So the one thing that's interesting here, if you type in a business name that you want to use and it's taken, it's going to tell you, do you own this business already? And if you do, it's going to say, do you want to go into employment? So just beware, this is the first step. If you type in the business and it's not there, it's going to say, good, you're good to go. And then we're going to head into the verification process.
I have a question.
Sure, you bet.
If your business name is already taken, what do you do?
You're going to have to make small tweaks to it. So, is your business name part of a big chain? Like I had, and what I mean by that is I had a lender who works for a chain a big mortgage company, but she wanted to do her own, so she remained independent. And I do this with realtors as well. So we took the name of the business, put a dash, and then her name. And that will allow that if she ever decides to change companies, she doesn't lose all of her reviews. You can go in and change that business name. Is that helpful for what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I believe so. I can just add my name to the end of my business because I did notice when I searched my business name before that a bunch of businesses with that name or similar came up.
Got it. Yes, if you think it makes sense, what kind of business are you in, if I might ask?
Accounting and tax.
Okay. Yeah, so you could do a couple of things. I don't know if you want to add if you're an LLC to it, or if you want to say it was bookkeeping by Nicole or something to that. You know what I mean? To put your name out there, but I would do a little bit of tweaking to make sure that I got it, but it makes sense. And I'm going to give you guys another tip. If you have not set this up, and most of you are already in business, the one thing is when you're talking about names, if I can add in a keyword that is really important to my business, it helps. So for instance, I used to be your startup concierge. Well, that was a hard one to spell. Didn't really talk what I did. But the minute I changed it to website MD, I ranked a lot quicker because the big keyword website was big for me versus your startup concierge. And I did it because I started specializing. So just food for thought if it's not set up. And it has to be your business name. So I'm not saying you just make something up, but it's got to be your business name that you're operating under. But again, if you have to hyphen your real name into it, if you're like a realtor, it's done all of the time. So just kind of a few ideas in picking out a business name.
Can I also add to that
Yeah,
if if you network, people don't remember the name of your company, they remember your name. So
Yep.
adding your name to your Google business profile is extremely important.
Absolutely. Especially, like I said, I sit with realtors, hairstylists. You start seeing where, because the movement, and like I said, they're known for them. They're that connecting piece. So let's talk about what happens the minute you put in your business. They now are going to ask you to verify. So the old slow way is they would send you, they say it's a postcard, but it's really just a white envelope with a verification code. I'm not seeing that happen as much. The nice thing that I'm starting to see more of is that it says, okay, we're going to send you a code to your phone. And then if you'll send us that verification code, and that's what is hopefully what you're going to get. But there are times if you're a brick and mortar type business, they may ask you to do a video verification as well. That's part of it, where you're taking your phone, FaceTiming, showing your location, your sign. And there are times they will ask for that. But if you're not, I work with a lot of service-based businesses. I'm starting to see more of the text, which I think is wonderful because it's done immediately. But there are times they'll also do an email. So they change up how they do the verification. Once you receive the code, they say you're verified. It still takes a couple of days for it to pend and for everything to go live. So just know it takes some time. And if you get a postcard, it's going to take probably 5 business days, maybe longer, to actually get that code. But you can still get everything set up. So don't stop, keep working. Just know it takes some time. And you do have the option that, say you did the postcard the first time, you can ask next time, say, can I try something else? Because I never got it. And it's very common. I hear that a lot with the postcard. So they will help you and look at different ways to get this done to verify. Okay, so you've got your listing set up that said, hey, here's your name. We're working on the verification process. What's next? So you're going to start entering contact information. And even though I'm a website developer, I'm going to tell you, you have the option for a free website on here. So if you're starting out, I know money can be tight. And I did this for my handyman, is you can mark, I don't have a website, and it will populate. So I did this for him. He was just starting out and he didn't have the funds to do it. We're trying to figure out how to market. And I said, I'd love to play with it because I've never done one. Do you know to this day, because he does great work and he has more business than he can handle, and it's all coming from his Google business profile, excellent work, and he started marketing his truck. So if you're in a bind and you're starting out and you're looking for a resource, it is there. They don't charge you a penny to have a website. It's not a lot of different things you can do with it, but at least it's a start to put some information out. So just wanted to share that if you have not started one, it's one way to start out. All right, so big things to talk about. Primary category, we talked about the landscaper. What do you choose? It's a drop-down menu. You know, you might play with it a couple of times, watch it for a few months, but then you're also going to choose a secondary category. So something that changed from last year, Google gives a lot of options like, hey, okay, so if I am I'm in the health and wellness industry, I might be doing the massage. I might be doing acupuncture. I could be doing 10 to 15 different things. Google will now put up boxes saying, hey, do any of these apply to you for your secondary? From a study last year, they're saying choose them all. If Google suggests it, it means it knows there's traffic for what you have. You should go with them. In previous years, it was considered to dilute the searches. But I belong to several of the groups that watch these in studies to say what's working. They said choose them all. So Google will kind of pick for you. But if you see something that doesn't make sense, of course, you're not going to use it. But this is a time in the secondary, you can pick a category that maybe wasn't listed. So if there's something special that you do and Google's not showing you, you can create a custom category. This is where you're going to do it. So these are two of the big important things, because as people are entering in a search, this is how part of how it's determining if you're a business that's going to show. Any questions about choosing categories? I also put just a reminder, when we were on the front page, remember it said, here's the website or the reviews, and this was their primary category. You never see these, but they're used in search. You'll see it on the back end for you. So this is where this comes into play as you're selecting it. And you can always change it. So don't worry, you're not going to make a mistake. It can always be changed later. But just know that's how that part works. Second thing is, it's going to ask you for a business address. So again, if you're a service-based business, you go, hey, I don't want anybody coming to my home. I don't want to put this in there. That is no problem. Even if it asks you, if you select your service-based business, it may ask you for the address because it's going to send you that verification. So just know it does not want a PO box, and that if you have selected it's a service-based business where you go to them, they're only using the address and they're going to mail you a verification code. So don't worry about listing it if you've checked, hey, I don't have anybody coming to me, I go to them. So that's interesting. Just a side note. Service areas it's going to ask you about. I would tell you stay within probably a 2-hour radius of wherever you want to service. This is one I would say I wouldn't dilute it with a lot. I would put maybe 5. So you can put any additional cities that are close to you. But this is important too, because this is going to show where you appear in the searches. So these are all things that's going to be asking you questions about. What are your service areas? So for me, I live in Albuquerque, but close to me is a city called Rio Rancho. Then there's little areas within Albuquerque that I can select that are closer. Somebody say, hey, I serve the entire United States. Do not do that. You will dilute your traffic. Even if you service the state, not a great thing to put the entire state, because then it goes, okay, well, when do I bring you up? Here's somebody that's actually in my hometown that's saying they're in the hometown. So keep it within about a 2-hour distance, select 5, 7 tops. Okay, so let's talk about hours,
All right.
because Candace.
Di has a question, and then I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Stacy, when you say as a service-based business and putting in your home address, is it only Google that's using that address? It's not
Yes.
visible to, okay, thank you.
Yes. And that always gets people concerned. So that is exactly, as long as you've marked the box, I am a service-based business. I don't have people coming to me.
Okay,
will be-
thank you.
You got
So-
it.
Joan has a question, but before we get there, I have a personal question. I don't have any clients in my hometown. As a matter of fact, most of my clients are in the Northwest in Canada and in Canada. So,
Okay.
putting my hometown as my service area would not benefit me in any way. And I do have myself listed as a service, and I don't have an address. I have myself in North America. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say, how is it? What kind of traffic are you getting? Do you ever look at your statistics?
I get like 8 to 10 views a month, not a lot.
So I would look at it, Candace. Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get clients from your area? Because this is really a local tool, is what it's used for.
So you're saying, okay, no, you answered my question. There isn't any reason
Okay.
why I wouldn't want to have
Yeah.
local business. All right, Joan,
Yeah,
ask
so-
your question.
This is the kind of thing, I noticed that it said you cannot list your location as in other states. I live in a tri-state area where literally, I grocery shop across the state line. I mean, how do I handle that?
Well, so it's gonna pick based on where you're located on your address, even though it's not
Okay.
showing your address. So
Okay.
Joan, you can,
So
even
it'd
though
be like the metropolitan statistical area?
well, you're gonna put in your address, and when you're looking at service area, the
Uh-huh.
areas that you're shopping, that's when you're gonna put those in. So when
Okay.
you talk about, so it's gonna say you are physically located here, even if it doesn't
Mhm.
show, but you want to service people in a much broader aspect because there's
Right.
different counties. And I've seen
Mhm.
that in Pennsylvania. I remember you'd cross over real quick and like, you're somewhere else. And it's been like 5 minutes. So that's
Exactly.
where your service areas will help you, Joe, is
Okay.
there.
Because I'm in that
Yes.
area of West Virginia that's 2 miles from Ohio and 10 miles from Pennsylvania, so.
Yes. So select based on the places you want to go to service. And
Mhm.
even if they're considered a different state, it's still going to look at you
Okay.
where you're based, because that's another, when people are searching what's near them, that's an automatic given. It's going to pull up sometimes by location.
Okay. Thank you, Stacy.
Of course, anybody else?
Susan's question is about business hours, which is what you're going to cover next. Her question is, I paid someone to set up my Google profile. For whatever reason, they put me as open 24 hours a day. Not sure why they
Oh.
did that. What are your thoughts on this? She is a real estate agent.
I've seen different agents do that, think that they're looking to take calls 24/7. I think it's a personal thing. I personally need some downtime. I have to have like a separation to say, hey, I love my clients, but at a certain time, I need to be with family, friends, or just some downtime. So I think it's all about, but I know other businesses, we had this discussion this week saying, I don't care if it's a Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to do it. So I think it comes back to, where do you feel comfortable in doing it? Because it doesn't have to be that way if you don't want it to be. And I don't think it hurts you.
I'd put boundaries on it. Whatever time you wake up and are ready to take calls to whatever time you want to go to bed.
Sometimes I think you need to know you have that time down. But like I said, I talked to 2 other businesses this week that were like, oh, anytime. I'm willing to take a call weekends. It doesn't matter. And I thought, I have to have that time. So I want to be at my best.
And
Now,
put in
so-
time zone. If I'm on the West Coast and I'm up at 8, I don't want somebody on the East Coast thinking that's 8 a.m. their time too.
Yeah, so I think coming back to this again, it's thinking more locally. So it's looking at your time zone locally. So that's a good question, because if you have somebody on the East Coast that happen to look like my handyman, he gets people out of state that have properties here they want him to fix. So there are times though he gets messages, and we'll talk about that too. And you have some other time to respond. So again, it's going to be a personal preference, but if you're saying this is your time and when your phone comes on, I literally have my business line set up. It goes on at a certain time and off at a certain time. And that's just for how I do it. So I know I'm ready to go. Okay, any other questions? And you can mark holiday hours. So there's a whole nother section that says, 4th of July is coming up. Are you open or are you closed? So you can mark those as well. So people know, because that was an earlier conversation. Attributes about the business, this area changes all the time. There's constant updates. One of the recent I saw is it's asking businesses that have recycling opportunities, which I had never seen before. And, so when you go through it, mark the things that feel applicable. If it is not something, don't mark it, just let it go. But I would do as many of them as possible, because that again helps who they're showing your profile to. So take some time with this so that you have an idea of what works. And every once in a while, if you can look at your profile, because again, I'm seeing Google change this fairly often. I would say if you can, maybe once a quarter, twice a year, just look at it, see what they've changed and what needs to be updated. Okay, so reviews we talked about. Again, not only just here on the front, but as people go into your profile, it's listed again. So to me, I look at and say, Google's telling me, not only is this one of the things they're showing as people are ranking, but later in my profile, it is showing highlighting some of your reviews. People can click in to see all of your reviews. They will also pull them from different platforms. So you may see, like on this one, it was Facebook, Houzz, but they're showing for them, this is specific to your Google profile. So I would tell you, if you do not have a review program in place, you want to do it. This is another way to keep your profile active. And people right now, we know that it has gone up to 87% of people go online to read reviews before they take an action. It was 81% the year before. So it is jumping. More and more people are looking to know more about you before they select a business. So just wanted to emphasize that a little bit more. Here's another huge opportunity that gets missed is your business description. You have up to 750 characteristics. Use as much as you can. The reason for that is this is your opportunity to add in keywords, which are words people are searching with, that describe your business. That again could be esthetician, that could be massage therapist, that could be, and I always use, I know it's a little redundant, if I'm located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I will put that again so people know this is where I'm at. And I will talk about my business a little bit further. The different services, I usually list them in here. And I may end it with call for a free consultation. So utilize your 750. If you are having troubles, I am not a wordsmith. Anybody else have that problem where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to put. I just don't. You may love it or hate it. Maybe you haven't heard about it, but I use ChatGPT 4 to write some of my stuff, because when I look at these descriptions, sometimes I can put down a few things and then it crafts it. And I'll say, I need a search engine optimized business description for a website business that does SEO, reviews, and da-da-da. And I need the help sometimes, and I'll look at it. So if you need help doing some crafting, it's a free tool and it will do a lot of things for you. And it's either to help get the ball started, you will then go in to tweak it. But ChatGPT 4 is the newest, or the one that I've used, that I play with for emails. I've had it write descriptions for me because, again, I can't get it out of my head. And I put it down, I go, that's not quite there. Just a few tips, but use it. I've seen people write like 2 lines and that's it. You don't want to do that. Utilize your space to the best that you can. Any questions about that? So let's talk about messaging. It'll ask you, do you want messaging? That means whatever phone number you've put in, if you have it's coming to a cell phone, you can, well, never mind, let me scratch that. You can get messages where it is coming, it actually goes to your email. Sorry about that. It sounds like it should be your phone, but I've had people where this gets confusing, but you'll get a message. It also goes to your email saying, hi, Stephen would like to know, do you offer family portraits? What dates are available? So this is nice that it's another way that people can communicate with you quickly and you can respond. But I like the fact that it also goes to email because I manage several clients' accounts. So I see when they get messages that I'm like, okay, so this is working well for them. They're getting them. So just know it will come to your email that you have a new response so that you're not worried about checking into your profile. But turn it on. It is another resource. Do you know the majority of people right now are starting to lean towards wanting to message rather than having to actually pick up the phone? So I would tell you, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on, and try to answer emails as quickly as possible. Google does track. Hey, this person usually responds in a couple of hours. This person maybe 7 days. So just know they're kind of tracking. Okay. All right. Messaging. Now, last kind of what we're looking at is once you've set it up on the back end, as you log into your profile, it's going to look like this. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of what you're looking at. The one thing is you can look here. If it's green, you're good to go. If it's yellow, it means that it's just looking for a little bit more information. That could even be reviews. I have a client that we've done everything, but we're trying to get him to do reviews. And so it is kind of holding back a little with that. It loves activity. Most of where you're going to go into to edit is going to be under edit profile. That's going to be your business description. It's going to be your hours. It's going to be those attributes we talked, or it's in a woman-owned business. This is where most of it's at. When you get a review, you can go in here to respond. But if you want to send a review, you go here, there's a little code. And so you can do a copy paste and send the code. You'll find it here, but you actually answer the reviews here. Those messages, you can see them here, or you can see them in your email. Add photos is going to be if you're adding for your logo. You can add a 30-second video to your profile. If you want to add an exterior, interior photos, or photos of some of the work you've done, they can go in here. You can do promotions. Say you're offering say for a paint class, you're now offering for the holidays, we're doing this and it's going to be $30 on this date. You can do promotion, or sorry, not promotions there. Sorry, wrong one. I'm thinking about that's going to be more of your updates. But anyway, back to the photos. Sorry. It's your photo gallery. You want to look at your logo and your interior and exterior. This is fun to me if your numbers. How's it doing? How many calls am I getting from this? How many clicks did it go to my website? All of this is going to be found here. How many messages did I get? If you ever decide you want to do the pay-per-click advertising by Google to appear higher, this is where you go in. Edit products. Edit products is something very few people will ever do. And I'm telling you, it's a hidden gem. And this is one of the things I talk about optimizing, because most people will not add in services here because they think products is products. I do it all the time. And I'm all about making the most out of the profile. Edit service will help you talk about service areas so you can change it. Bookings, if you book online, or you can put a link. Another gem, do not wait for somebody to ask you a question. Most of the time they don't. Be proactive, put your top 5 questions and answers. You can do that. Because when people get ready to buy, what is the first thing we do? We research, right? And so usually we're researching is questions. It's another tip to get you to show up. Updates. That's where I started to bleed into the other. Sorry about that. Updates can be social media posts. So if you're Candace, did you have a question?
It is 11:43, so we're gonna go long. If you guys want to hang out, we're gonna go long.
I am so sorry.
No,
I thought
it's
this
my
is the
fault for
last.
starting slow.
No,
Stacy,
and I'll hurry. I'll hurry.
Stacy, I have a quick question.
You got it.
What if you get a fake review, like a bot that gives you a negative review? Do you just leave it there? Do you address it? I know you can't delete it, but what do you do when you know it's a fake review and it's a negative review?
You can submit a claim to Google. There is a way to ask them for help to get it removed. Good question. So you want to ask them to get it removed.
It's my understanding that they won't remove it. They just leave it there.
No, you can ask them and tell them the situation. It may take a little time, but their help is really actually pretty good. It's usually email, but they have helped me on several situations. So I would tell you, if you can say, hey, this is a bot, don't even know who this client is, I would fight to try to get them to remove it.
All right, thank you.
You got it. Absolutely. Updates. If you got a special promotion, put it here. If you are teaching classes and you want to put a calendar, you can put your events here. And if you just are doing a post, say you have a Facebook post, you want to put it over here in Google, put it here. We talked about ask for reviews. So this is your back-end dashboard. So when you create it, it looks like a lot, but just kind of play with it a little bit. That's where you're going to find everything. Any questions? Because we're almost to the end. Okay. So you guys, you can do the videos to show how you do it all. If you get frustrated, you want help, I usually charge $147. It's $97. But again, the videos are free. They show you more than I showed you today. So please take a chance. And if you have questions, you can always reach out for help, and I'm happy to help you. So thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm hosting an art show and the proceeds are going to go to my suicide prevention walk. Is that something that I should be posting on my Google profile page? And if yes, are you suggesting that I should post on Facebook first and then pull it in to the Google profile, or do you have any recommendations?
Okay, yes, I would post it. Anything that you're doing to create activity, Google likes. It likes that you're doing something constantly with your profile. So I would post it in here. No, you do not need to post it into Facebook first. The times though I will relate stuff, I do tend to link things back and forth between my website and social media. The linking is another kind of search engine optimization tactic. And this is one of the ways I'll do it.
Would
Thank
you
you.
mind
Thank you.
showing us how to
Yeah.
actually post something to our Google business profiles? Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, if you guys have time, let me.
I think this is kind of
Stop sharing.
important because even though I know it's important, I don't do it.
You know, most people don't even know they can actually do it. And so let me see if I can. see
And
if this-
also, can you share, like, how do you send a link to someone to say, hey, can you do a review for me?
I sure can. Anything I have the time. If you ladies have the time, just cut me off, because I think that this is such an important tool and it offers a lot. So I'm going to zip in real quick and show you one of my first ones. Okay, so remember we talked about this is what it looks like once you go in. And so the first question is, how do I post? So I want to go through and I want to go into, and sometimes if you don't click this to make sure you're seeing everything. So I want to go ahead and do an update. Now this is where I do a post in updates.
Oh, there's events. Susan, are you paying attention to add event?
And here's your offer. So if you
I am.
want to offer promotions for the holidays, it's something to do with shopping, here's the updates, and I'll kind of run through it real quick. It's pretty easy. You can add, this is your post, you can add the picture. And of course, I'm going to link it back to my website. Or if you do not have a website, link it back to your Facebook page. It will work. I've done it before. So unless they've stopped it, but there have been times that if I've had a client that doesn't have a website, we can link it there. But it's a post. But I'm just saying, if you created it in Facebook, you already have it. You can copy and paste it over to here, and now you have a post.
What is the suggested size for the photo?
Oh, good question. You know what?
Square, rectangle, vertical,
Usually it's square.
square. Okay.
And I'll show you what it looks like on their profile. Let's see. So if you go here, these are our posts. So we're posting for this client. So if we go into here, the final input is, we'd also put he's doing a free toilet for a giveaway for any bathroom remodel. Okay, let's see. Am
That's
I
a
not going
gorgeous
to-
shower.
Thank you. Pictures are, okay, do you guys know where you can pull pictures? for free that are royalty free, good quality pictures if need to be, because otherwise you need to have permission. I think you have a photographer in the group that can tell you, hey, you can't just take somebody's pictures and post them. You need to make sure you've given permission. So all of these are pictures. We use Pexels, Pexels, to get our royalty-free pictures. And on my website, I have a whole page of like free, mostly free free resources, like the Chat
Wouldn't it be better
GBT.
for them to actually use photos from their clients?
It is. Overstock every time is the best way. In fact, it's just if you don't have something and you need pictures, do it then. But you're right, Candace. Google would prefer an actual photo over stock any day. So, anyway, so food for thought, but this is where those come in when you talk about when I post, where do I see it? What does it look like? It's a
So
little
the
rectangular.
photo would look best if it's like the 9/16 size horizontal from what I'm seeing. So use horizontal photos.
I always use square though, and I think it comes out this way. I don't know that I
No, you wanna
really think
use
about
square.
it.
Okay, just
So-
don't use
square.
vertical.
Don't use vertical.
Don't use vertical.
But you
Um,
know what? Play with it and you're going to know because you can always edit it afterwards. And so you just have to play with some of the tools to know what they are. But the updates, again, this is where you can go in for your post. I'm going to offer and I have an event. So this is every place that you go. They all look kind of similar. It has all the information. It walks you through. It's pretty intuitive when you go into this. But again, it always says optional. If you can drive it, traffic to somewhere, do it. It's really a benefit SEO wise to do that wherever you're going to drive it, whether it's your Facebook page, you want to do that. So that's where those go. And I apologize. I feel like there was another question. You wanted me to show you something else?
I have
How
a quick
to
question.
share how
Okay.
to ask for reviews, and then Karen has a question.
So
Okay,
when it comes
ask for-
to pictures, I belong to
Yes.
a networking group, and they're talking about how to maximize your Google profile. And they say that pictures are critical. Like wherever you go in your community, take a picture. You go to the dry cleaners, take a picture. If you go to the supermarket, take a picture. So one of the ladies talked about, she's in Toronto, and she just took a picture of Target. I'm at Target. She took a picture of Target. But for some unknown reason, Google picked up her picture because one day she looked at her profile and she had like 900 hits. And she's like, what in the world is going on? Come to find out, the picture she took at Target, outside the building Target, somehow Google profile picked up that picture. And she got all this traffic to her page and she couldn't believe it. So she's like,
Oh my
wherever you
goodness.
go, if you go to Chick-fil-A, hey, I'm having lunch at Chick-fil-A, take a picture, put it on your Google profile. You'll get like so much traffic. She was just shocked.
I don't think it's on your Google profile. I think you're supposed to tag the location.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay. But she just said taking pictures in your day-to-day activities, like really, and she's a realtor too, and it just increased everything for her.
I bet for her in Toronto, if she was at a Target, she had to be in the States because we don't have Target in Canada anymore. So I would be curious to know if that's Canadian traffic she's getting or US traffic she's getting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Maybe she was in Niagara Falls. I don't know, but she just said that somehow they picked up that picture and it's just crazy.
Well, yeah, that is interesting because I'm always looking at it. How does it pertain to the business? So, because if I'm looking at your business, am I going to wonder, like, why am I seeing Target? So I don't know. But it's interesting. Food for thought, though. I mean, she got a lot of traffic. That's pretty interesting. I'm thinking, I'm looking at more maybe clients you've helped. And if you're in a service base, like I do websites, I struggle with photos because it's like I can show a website, but it's not like I'm clicking a picture of a beautiful house I'm trying to sell. So, everybody's got kind of their challenges with that. But I always love hearing these insights because you never know. So, clicking photos, getting reviews, here's the link. And I again just went from ask for a review, copy and paste this, and then you can email it to them, you can text it to them. But that's how you can ask for a review. It brings them exactly where they need to go.
5 minutes later.
If you have a business card, do a QR code. There's free QR code creators. I see in a lot of my clients, we do a review request program. We are testing out, and they are having great success with doing a QR code, asking for a review. And so that people, they can either, you can have it on your business card, you could have it on a sign in your business, you can just have a separate review card. And I've seen this with my acupuncturist. She's getting more reviews by just having those actual items in her business and allowing people to click them. So get creative. The QR codes are a fun way. People are starting to do more and more with it. So easy to do, free tools. Again, if you go to websitemd.io resource page, there are all of those tools on there, and they're free. The majority of them, I think, are all free. There's always upgraded versions if you ever want it, but it's a lot. There's always looking for tools. So if you have stuff you love, Candace is on there. I think this is a great group. So
Thank you.
it's for DIY. I've linked to your page to make sure that people know this great service you're offering. So thank you.
So, the question is the email, WhatsApp, and Facebook buttons above the review link. Do those link to your business Facebook, email, or WhatsApp? I'm assuming that they just open up email, open up WhatsApp, or open up Facebook.
Yeah. So just going in, it's going to open so that you can go ahead and send it. Like that's my personal. So it goes in to say, hey, I want to go ahead and put it on this page. Sorry. And that's one of my clients. So we have it into his. But yes, so it's opening all of them.
Google
And-
Ads, Deb, is a completely different conversation.
Okay.
I'll get
It
somebody to
is.
do Google Ads in 2024. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
and
Stacy.
There's local Google ads now on some industries. So that's a cool thing versus the pay-per-click. Cool to know. I like the local better if your industry and city is able to do it.
Can you?
So
I don't think Susan got to see. Thank you for being here, Amy. I don't think Susan got to see the actual page where you can click on the link to get to the share.
So when you go to the back end and you're looking, if this doesn't pop up and you see ask for review, that means you just need to click on the circle. When I go here, this is when I'm getting the link, and I can just copy it from here. Was that the question?
Deb had a quick question about Google Ads.
Sure.
We're going to cover that in a future
Okay.
class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Okay.
We'll cover that. I'll get somebody for February 2024 to cover that. Sorry, you have to wait until February, but I will find someone to do Google Ads. Unless Stacy
Okay.
wants to come back in February.
I will.
All right, Stacy's coming back in February. We're going to do 45 minutes on Google Ads.
Yay, Stacy's coming
Alright.
back.
We need to
Well,
wrap up, guys.
Yes.
So, thank you so much, Stacy. Can you stop sharing for a minute? Everybody get on camera. We're going to all say thank you, Stacy. So everybody unmute. And
Thank
5,
you.
4,
Thank-
3, 2, 1. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Stacy. All right.
It's
so-
been a pleasure. Thank you. You guys have been wonderful. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
your Google business profiles.
Thank
have
you.
questions,
And,
holler.
all of Stacy's links are in the chat, and the replay will be available by tomorrow. And $97 for Stacy to do your Google business profile is a great deal.
Mhm.
All right. And now all of you are on the email list. So you have the email, you have the Google, you have the Zoom link. It's the same Zoom link every month. So just put 11 a.m. on the first Thursday of the month on your calendar and use that same Zoom link to come back next month. All right.
Right.
Thank
One
you,
quick
everybody.
question, Stacy. If we already
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
one last question. If we already have our Google page, Stacy, do you have a service where you review them and just check to make sure? Okay, I'll contact you.
We optimize them, and we can actually market them for you every month with postings, events, pictures. So yes, just reach
Okay.
out. I'd love to talk
Thank
to you. You bet. Thank you. Bye,
Perfect.
everybody. Thank
Bye,
you
everybody.
for having
We'll
me.
see you guys next
Bye,
month.
Candace.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you so much, Stacy.
You bet. Okay, bye.